Oh, he's gritting his teeth like, oh. Hey everyone, Henry Yellow here. Welcome back and Merry Christmas. Today we are going to watch Miracle on 34th Street. After this, I plan to watch A Christmas Story, and if I have enough time left over, I plan to watch Klaus, which is an animated film from 2019. I might not have enough time for Klaus, but if I don't get to watch it today, I'll watch it tomorrow. Now, my previous movie reaction, It's a Wonderful Life. Now that is a wonderful movie, a very touching movie, and the movie today seems to be more like a comedy, drama type of movie, but I am not taking any chances. I have prepared some tissues just in case. So yeah, let's watch A Miracle on 34th Street.
You're making a mistake with the reindeer.
You've got Cupid where Blitzen should be. Donna's answers are 4 points instead of 3.
So what, he's Santa Claus?
Something's got to be done. That rubber-dub-dub 3 men in a tub float just isn't good enough.
Rub-a-dub-dub 3 men in a tub. That's a long whip. Did Santa Claus actually whip his reindeer?
It's all in the wrist. You've been drinking.
Well, it's cold. A man's got to do something to keep warm.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself. I refuse to have you malign me in this fashion. Who's in charge of this parade?
When you find out, you tell me. These pants are going to fall off in the middle of Columbus Circle.
Use a belt, that'll help.
Your Santa Claus is intoxicated.
Oh, no.
Yes, it's disgraceful.
He's gonna take his place?
You know it's not allowed. But it's cold. A man's got to do something to keep warm.
I'll warn you. I ought to take this cane.
Could you be Santa Claus? Have you had any experience?
Oh, a little.
A little.
I am not in the habit of substituting for spurious Santa Clauses.
Do it for the children.
The children mustn't be disappointed.
That's right.
Get that costume.
They're gonna strip the man naked in the middle of cold weather. No mercy.
Oh, I'm going to go home and get in a hot tub.
You really should see the parade you worked so hard on.
Oh, if I want to, which I doubt. I can see it from the roof of my apartment.
Well, that's right.
Being someone who actually created the floats and the parade, organizing and all that, they probably get bored of the parade anyway.
He was a clown last year. They just changed the head and painted him different.
He certainly is a giant, isn't he?
There are no giants, Mr. Gailey.
In olden days, there were a lot of...
Realistic child, eh?
Jack who?
Jack and a Beanstalk.
It's a fairy tale.
Oh, one of those. I don't know any fairy tales. My mother thinks they're silly.
What do you think of my parade?
It's much better than last year's.
Sugar? Cream? Both? Neither?
Just one sugar, please.
I would have given her 1 sugar cube, since she said 1 sugar.
There goes Santa Claus. At least this one doesn't wear glasses.
The one I hired, I fired.
Why?
You remember the way the janitor was last New Year's?
Oh, yes.
No Santa Claus, no fairy tales.
I think we should be realistic and completely truthful with our children, not have them growing up believing in a lot of legends and myths like Santa Claus.
Yeah, I never believed in them either, but I mean, sometimes you can still have fun with things you don't believe in, right?
We've got such a big turkey for dinner. Couldn't we invite Mr. Gailey?
No, don't even think about it. I'll have a sandwich or something.
Oh, so sarcastic.
Please,
don't want you
Mother,
to feel
please.
Well,
Can I ask our eyes?
They planned this. Oh, you sly dog.
dinner's at 3.
Thanks.
That's an early dinner.
You worked.
Yes.
That's so sweet.
Everybody's crazy about him. So is Mr. Macy. He's a born salesman. I just feel it.
And you'll find toys of all kinds and bases.
Oh, yeah, he seems like a natural. He's even helping Macy promote their toys. 34th Street.
That sure is an elegant costume.
Yes. I've had it for years.
Better than the one I wear.
You, Alfred?
Yeah, I play Santa Claus over at the wine near our block, see?
Wait, he knew his name.
You enjoy impersonating me. Why?
When I give packages to little kids, I like to watch their faces get that Christmas look all of a sudden. It makes me feel kind of good and important.
Christmas look.
I just want to give you a few tips on how to be a good Santa Claus.
Go right ahead.
Well, here's a list of toys that we have to push, you know.
That's tips on being a salesman, not Santa Claus.
Making a child take something it doesn't want. The way they commercialize Christmas.
Oh, don't bother. I'll put it away for you.
Huh? Oh, thank you, Alfred.
Alfred doesn't even realize that Santa knows his name.
What do you want for Christmas, Peter?
I want a fire engine just like the big ones, only smaller.
Macy's ain't got any.
You'll get your fire engine.
Oh, thank you very much.
Listen, what's the matter with you? Don't you understand English?
You can get those fire engines at Schoenfeld's on Lexington Avenue.
Macy's sending people to the store. You kidding me?
What are you unhappy about?
You go to Gimbel's. They have exactly what you're looking for, I'm sure. There you are. Yeah.
So he's directing almost everyone to other stores.
I want to congratulate you and Macy's on this wonderful new stunt you're pulling. Putting the spirit of Christmas ahead of the commercial. It's wonderful. From now on, I'm going to be a regular Macy customer. All right. There are 6 more women out there who want to thank you.
Oh, these women are very verbal.
Well, young lady, what's your name?
Susan Walker, what's yours?
Kris Kringle. I'm Santa Claus. Oh, you don't believe that, do you?
Just so you guys know, there actually isn't such a thing in my country. At least I've never seen any events where people actually come and sit on Santa Claus' lap.
I tell her Santa Claus is a myth, and you bring her down here, and she sees hundreds of gullible children. This
So?
sets up a very harmful mental conflict within her. What is she going to think?
Susan seems like a very smart girl. You don't have to worry about that.
They grow up considering life a fantasy instead of a reality. They keep waiting for Prince Charming to come along. When he does, he turns out to be a...
We were talking about Susie, not about you.
That's her experience, and doesn't want Susan to face the same thing that, you know, she faced as a child. That is understandable from her perspective.
I'm sorry she doesn't speak English. She's Dutch. We've adopted her. When she saw you in the parade yesterday, she said you were Santa Claus, and she calls you
Sinterklaas.
Ik ben blij dat je gekomen bent.
Oh, and Sinterklaas.
Ja, zeker. Zeg maar wat je zou willen hebben van Sinterklaas.
Ik wil alleen maar bij deze lieve dame zijn.
I speak French, but that doesn't make me Joan of Arc. Would you please tell her that you're not really Santa Claus?
Oh, you don't have to go that far.
I want you to tell her the truth. What's your name?
Kris Kringle.
May I have this gentleman's employment card, please?
Wait, does Kris Kringle actually mean Santa Claus? First time I've heard of that.
Thank you.
Still student besides read.
Next of kin, all the reindeer. As old as my tongue and a little bit older than my teeth. Now she thinks he's mental.
I'm sorry, but we're going to have to make a change.
Change?
The Santa Claus that we had 2 years ago is back in town.
Have I done something wrong?
Oh, no.
How do they even hire him? I don't think he provided any identification, unless they didn't need that in the past.
I've just been telling these gentlemen of the new policy you and Mr. Shellhammer initiated. Imagine Macy's Santa Claus sending customers to Gimbel's. Oh, but gentlemen, you cannot argue with success.
The results speak for themselves.
Over 500 thankful parents expressing undying gratitude to Macy's.
Wow.
I want every salesperson in this store to do precisely the same thing. If we haven't got exactly what the customer wants, send him where you can get it. No high pressuring and forcing a customer to take something he doesn't really want.
Give me the top 10 things that CEOs never say.
The store that places public service ahead of profits. Consequently, we'll make more profits than ever before. In your Christmas envelopes, you'll find a more practical expression of my gratitude.
What? He's crazy. He thinks he is Santa Claus.
I don't care if he thinks he's the Easter Bunny. You've got to get him back.
He's insane, I tell you.
Maybe he's only a little crazy, like painters or some of those men in Washington.
Thanks, that's mighty good news. Seems we're all so busy trying to beat the other fellow in making things go faster and shinier and cost less that... Christmas isn't just a day. It's a frame of mind. And I'm glad I met you and your daughter. You two are a test case for me. If I can win you over, there's still hope.
First thing in the morning, would you report to Mr. Sawyer's office?
It's a mental examination. Oh, I don't mind. I've taken dozens of them. How many days in the week? 7. How many fingers do you see? 4. Who was the first president of the United States? George Washington.
Yeah, that's not a mental test anymore, that's a knowledge test.
How many days in the week?
7.
Who was the first president of the United States?
George Washington.
Are you serious? Why are you asking those questions?
It's just that I hate to see someone tied up in...
How many fingers do you see?
3. Oh, you bite your nails, too. Sometimes the cause of nervous habits like yours is not obvious. Are you happy at home, Mr. Sawyer?
That will be all, Mr. Kringle. And it may interest you to know that I've been happily married for 26 years.
Really?
That's great.
Your wife's on 672. She says it's very important.
Why are they all pulling their eyebrows?
If that fat, stupid brother of yours would get a job, you wouldn't have to be pestering me all the time. After giving this man a comprehensive examination, it's my considered opinion he should be dismissed immediately.
What? No, he just got on his nerves.
I don't think there's any doubt about it. He should be placed in a mental institution.
That's ridiculous.
His is a delusion for good. He only wants to be friendly and helpful.
That's what I feel, too.
When a fixed delusion is challenged, the deluded is apt to become violent.
If you tell Kris there is no Santa Claus, he'll argue the point, but he'll not become violent.
His whole manner suggests aggressiveness. But you asked for my opinion, and I've given it to you.
Your opinion's invalid.
Speaking of delusions, I assure you Kris has no latent maniacal tendencies.
All that's got to happen is for a policeman to ask him his name. Clang, clang, Bellevue.
There must be someone here at the store who could rent a room out to him. Then they could both ride to and from work together.
Say, I have an idea. We always have martinis before dinner. I'll make them double strength tonight. You take him home to dinner, and I'll call you as soon as my wife's past feeling.
A couple martinis will do the trick.
What sort of games do you play with the other children?
They were in the basement playing zoo, and all of them were animals. I said, I'm not an animal. I'm a girl. And he said, only animals allowed here. Goodbye.
Of course, in order to play it, you've got to have an imagination.
That's when you see things, but they're not really there.
Well, that can be caused by other things, too.
It's true.
You've heard of the French nation, the British nation. Well, this is the imagination.
Mm-hmm.
How would you like to be the Statue of Liberty in the morning, and in the afternoon fly south with a flock of geese?
All you need is imagination.
First thing you've got to learn is how to pretend. You tell him you're a monkey.
But I don't know how to be a monkey.
Sure you do. Now scratch yourself, please. Put the tongue under your lip over your teeth.
Put your tongue under your lip over your teeth.
We're just having our first lesson in pretending. Oh, doing quite well at it, too.
If you'd like to move in with me, I'd be only too happy to have you.
Well, that's awfully nice of you.
It is awfully nice of him.
Besides, I could see Susie now and then. It's a deal. Good.
Hello, Mr. Shellhammer.
I've made the martinis triple strength, and she feels wonderful.
Hello?
Bro, she's not all the way there.
Thank you, darling.
Part of her's in the clouds.
How silly of me. Hello?
Please thank them very much, but I'm going to stay with Mr. Gailey. There must be something you want for Christmas, something you haven't even told your mother about, eh?
Well,
Imagine she wants to see her father. How's he gonna make that happen?
that's what I want for Christmas. A real house.
Ooh. An entire house, that's a tall order.
I want a backyard with a great big tree to put a swing on, and I guess you can't get it, huh?
It's a tall order.
Like I said, it's a tall order. Like, she could have just requested for a nation. Like, just give me a nation of my own, and I earn $1 million every day.
Nice place you got here.
Wonder what he has in mind.
I think you're right about Mrs. Walker. A little more effort on your part, and she might crawl out of that shell. I'll take care of Susie if you'll take care of her mother.
It's a deal. Does Santa Claus sleep with his whiskers outside or in?
Always sleep with them out. Cold air makes them grow.
Oh, now they're actively promoting other shops. Oh, hey, that's not a bad idea.
We don't carry that brand, but I think Gimbel's does. $2.98. Looks like an exceptional bargain.
They've become an information hub. That's actually really good.
Every shopper in New York City suddenly thinks of Macy as a benevolent soul. Well, two can play at this game.
Oh, that's actually really great. Like, each stores are just helping each other.
Well, we can cover the country, too. Notify our stores in San Francisco, Atlanta, Toledo, and Newark.
All right, Macy.
Wow. This is really such a great thing happening.
I have something I'd like to give our friend here.
That's a bit of money. What are you going to do with it? I have a friend. He needs an X-ray machine.
Oh, I don't think that's going to be enough.
I'll make up the difference. I can get it for cost.
Oh, such a great world it would be if, everyone, including companies also help each other. I mean, I know it happens in real life too. It's just that you rarely see it happen.
Home again, jigger. Do you happen to have a spare piece?
Oh, it would be bad if he blows one and then it pops on his beard and his mustache, because then it would stick to it. And how's he gonna remove it? Oh, I'm surprised he could still remove it while keeping the beard and mustache. I think some people suggest using oil to remove the gum from your hair.
Remember I was telling you how I like to play Santa Claus over at Dwight on Christmas? Well, I was telling that to Mr. Sawyer. He says that's very bad. He says that guys who give presents away do it because when they was young, they must have did something bad, and they feel guilty about it.
What kind of logic is that?
It's a lot of rubbish, Alfred. Don't listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
What's the basis of this guilt complex you're supposed to have?
It's probably way down inside of me someplace, see? Maybe something that happened to me when I was a baby, he says.
Oh, sure.
He's doing it for free because I'm an interesting case.
Mm-hmm.
What else has he found wrong with you?
Just that I hate my father. I didn't know it, but he says I do.
Mrs. Sawyer is trying to make life miserable for others? He's simply diagnosing people.
Are you a licensed psychiatrist?
What business is it of yours?
You have no more right to analyze Alfred than a dentist has to remove a gallbladder. Taking a normal, impressionable boy like Alfred and filling him up with complexes and phobias?
I think I'm better equipped to judge that than you are.
Stop analyzing Alfred, or I go straight to Mr. Macy and tell him what a malicious, contemptible fraud you are.
Get out before I have you thrown out.
Oh, ooh. Now they just saw him attacking him with a cane.
We were merely talking. The moment I attacked his delusion, he became violent. I told you he had latent maniacal tendencies. Well, I think this proves.
You have latent maniacal tendencies.
Perhaps you better get a competent psychiatrist.
Better have the examination right away before he tells before Mr. Macy finds out.
This is going to hurt Kris very deeply, and I don't want to be the one to do it.
Mr. Sawyer needs a psychologist.
I'm going to take some publicity pictures this afternoon down at the City Hall. Oh, but I've made an appointment with Mr. Macy at 4 o'clock. You'll be back in plenty of time.
Where to? Bellevue.
Bellevue?
Hello. Yes? He's going to be with us for a few days, and he was wondering if you could bring over his personal things.
Hello, Kris. Fred.
Well, why does he look so small in this frame?
You deliberately failed that examination, didn't you? She didn't know anything about the taking pictures with the mayor. That was Sawyer's idea.
But why didn't she come to me and explain the whole thing?
She didn't want to hurt you.
Only because I was a nice, kind old man and she was sorry for me.
You can't just think of yourself. What happens to you matters to a lot of other people. People like me who believe in what you stand for. You can't quit. You can't let them down.
You're right. I ought to be ashamed of myself.
I'll do everything I can, Kris.
Thank you.
Goodbye. You get the case dropped tomorrow, or you might have another lump to match the one that Kris gave you.
Mr. Gailey to see you, Your Honor. He represents Mr. Kringle. I request a formal hearing to which I may bring witnesses.
We have a hearing on Monday morning at 10 o'clock.
Thank you.
Mr. Macy would rather drop the whole thing right now.
Well, it can't be done. It's too late now.
Oh.
Regarding this Kringle matter, we're very anxious to avoid publicity of any kind. So if you would agree to put this matter through quietly?
You know, if I'm going to win this case, I'm going to have public opinion and plenty of it. Publicity's just the way to do it.
No, I think he misunderstood him. I mean, think about how that will affect all the kids who loved him.
This Kringle case is dynamite. Let some judge handle it that isn't coming up for re-election.
I'm an honest man, and nobody's going to hold it against me for doing my duty as I see it.
Good night, Terry. Good night, Alice.
How about a great big kiss for Grandpa? No hug, no kiss, no anything.
I don't blame them. Any man who puts Santa Claus on trial for lunacy.
See what I mean?
Even his kids learned about it.
Your Honor, please, I should like to call the first witness.
I want to explain to the witness that this is a hearing, not a trial. You don't have to answer any questions against your wishes or even testify at all. Oh, I'll be glad to answer any question that I can.
The judge is trying to help him.
You believe that you're Santa Claus? Of course.
State rests, Your Honor.
Perhaps he didn't understand the question correctly. Oh, I understood the question perfectly, Your Honor.
You're not helping yourself.
All these complicated tests and reports boil down to this. Mr. Kringle is not sane because he believes himself to be Santa Claus. You believe yourself to be Judge Harper. No,
one questions your sanity because you are Judge Hart. If he is the person he believes himself to be, then he's just as sane. I intend to prove that Mr. Kringle is Santa Claus.
Really? Now how's he gonna do that?
You can't possibly prove that he's Santa Claus.
Why not?
What about your bosses? What do they say?
Either I drop this impossible case immediately, or they will drop me.
See?
I beat them to it. I quit.
Wow. He took the leap.
You can't just throw your career away because of a sentimental whim. If Hayslip feels that way, so will every other law firm in town.
Maybe he wants to start his own
I'll
law
open my
firm.
own office.
Yeah.
It's just common sense.
Faith is believing in things when common sense tells you not to. It's
Oh,
kindness
Fred.
and joy and love and all the other intangibles.
You're living in a realistic world, and those lovely intangibles of yours are attractive but not worth very much. You don't get ahead that way.
That all depends on what you call getting ahead. Someday you're going to find out that your way of facing this realistic world just doesn't work. Don't overlook those lovely intangibles. You'll discover they're the only things that are worthwhile.
I mean, both their arguments are sound. I don't know like who to support here because what she says absolutely makes sense to me, but what he says is also like a necessary part of life. So it's like, you gotta find a balance.
I've never gotten into this. It's up to the state of New York, and I'm just their duly appointed legal representative. No matter what they may say about me, I've got to do it.
Sometimes I wish I'd married a butcher or a plumber.
I mean, come on, he's just a legal representative in this. He has to do it.
Your name?
R.H. Macy.
You're under oath. Do you really believe that this man is Santa Claus?
I do. Psychologist. You're fired.
Ooh.
There is no such person as Santa Claus, and everybody knows it. We request an immediate ruling from this court. Is there or is there not a Santa Claus?
What if there's a person that's born and the parents gave him the name Santa Claus? Like, what are you gonna do about that?
The court will take a short recess to consider the matter.
But if you go back in there and rule that there's no Santa Claus, you better start looking for that chicken farm right now.
How can I seriously rule that there is a Santa Claus?
You go back and tell him that the New York State Supreme Court rules there's no Santa Claus. The toy manufacturers are going to like that. So they have to lay off a lot of their employees. Union employees.
Ah, he's taking that kind of approach to explain it to him.
And the Christmas card makers. Candy companies. You're going to be an awful popular fella.
Yeah, it's gonna offend a lot of parties.
But you go ahead, Henry. You do it your way. You can count on getting just 2 votes, your own and that district attorney's out there.
The district attorney's a Republican.
He communicated it to him in a way that he would truly understand. And that's the right way to communicate, even though he's being sarcastic.
The question of Santa Claus seems to be largely a matter of opinion. Clear evidence on either side.
He's crazy, too.
Will Thomas Mara please take the stand?
Who, me?
Thomas Mara, Jr.
Oh. She got a subpoena.
Hello, Daddy.
Hello.
Do you believe in Santa Claus, Tommy?
Sure I do.
Why are you so sure this is Santa Claus?
My daddy told me so.
Wow.
Didn't you, Daddy?
And he can't deny that.
My daddy wouldn't tell me anything that wasn't so. Would you, Daddy?
Oh, he's gritting his teeth like, oh. He can't say otherwise.
Don't forget a real official football helmet.
Don't worry, Tommy. You'll get it.
Well, he has no choice. He has been defeated, utterly defeated, by his own child's testimony.
We ask that Mr. Gailey cease presenting personal opinion as evidence. I therefore request that Mr. Gailey now submit authoritative proof that Mr. Kringle is the one and only Santa Claus.
He's not like anyone else. He must be Santa.
I think perhaps you're right, Susie.
I'm going to write him a letter right now and cheer him up.
Dear Mr. Kringle, my mother says you are sad. Now I'm writing to you because I want you to be happy again and to tell you that I believe all you told me and everything will turn out fine. I even believe you will get me the present I ask for. Hope you are not sad. Yours truly, Susan. I believe in you. 2.
I seen him write to Santa Claus, North Pole, South Pole, and every other place. Here's a kid writes, Kris Kringle, New York County Courthouse.
Here, read it for yourself. Right on the front page.
How many Santa Claus letters we got down at the dead letter office?
Must be about 50,000 of them.
Delivered to Mr. Kringle down at the courthouse. Let somebody else worry about it, huh?
Hey,
To think that they actually kept all those in a dead letter place. They might have like chose to shred them, burn them or something, but they actually keep them. Over 50,000 of them.
I've wired the governor, the mayor. This is worth more to me than all the governors and mayors in the world.
Look at him. He hasn't got a thing.
He's got plenty of letters. A whole mountain of them.
The defense has yet to offer one concrete piece of evidence to substantiate this preposterous claim.
I'd like to submit the following facts and evidence. It concerns the Post Office Department, an official agency of the United States government. The United States postal laws and regulations make it a criminal offense to willfully misdirect mail or intentionally deliver it to the wrong party.
We are very happy to concede Mr. Gailey's claims.
For the record, Mr. Mara?
For the record. Anything to get on with this case.
He's just dug his own hole.
These letters have just now been delivered to Mr. Kringle by bona fide employees of the post office.
3 letters, Your Honor, are hardly positive proof.
Oh, he's just waiting for that.
I have further exhibits, Your Honor, but I hesitate to produce them.
Put them here on my desk.
Are you sure?
Your Honor,
Put them here on the desk.
Put them here on the desk. I know he's been waiting for that the whole time. Like, here you go. They're gonna be put on your desk. I'm just afraid your desk can't fit them. Whoa, that is a whole lot more than 50,000. Well, Your Honor, you asked for it.
Since the United States government declares this man to be Santa Claus, this court will not dispute it.
He must be so glad to get the case over with without, bringing any harm or offending other parties.
I've got to get that football helmet.
Oh yeah, you do.
I got your note. It made me very happy.
Oh, I'm so glad. Would you like to come to dinner tonight?
I can't. It's Christmas Eve.
Oh, I forgot.
He needs to deliver the presents. Wait, is this the X-ray machine? Ah, he gave it to Dr. Pierce.
There are lots of presents there for you, darling.
Not the one Mr. Kringle was going to get for me.
Oh, what was that?
It doesn't matter.
I'm sorry, Susie. I tried my best, but...
You couldn't get it because you're not Santa Claus, that's why. I shouldn't have believed you.
You must believe in Mr. Kringle and keep right on doing it.
But he didn't get me the...
Faith is believing in things when common sense tells you not to. Just because things don't turn out the way you want them to the first time, you've still got to believe in people.
If you'll go this way, you'll miss a lot of traffic. I've written it all down.
Believe, it's silly, but I believe.
Oh, I mean, she's lost hope all because of that one present.
This must be the turn here.
Stop, Uncle Fred! Stop! Stop!
Oh, looks very similar.
This is my house, Mommy. The one I asked Mr. Kringle for. My room upstairs is just like I knew it would be. Mr. Kringle is Santa Claus.
Sign outside said it's for sale. We can't let her down.
I thought Santa would buy it for her. But of course, then he would need to give her the land title and all that.
No, it can't be. It must have been left here by the people that moved out.
Maybe.
And I guess after that, maybe they never saw Kris Kringle again? Because then he would disappear for another entire year. Or maybe he'll just stay back at the institution with Dr. Pierce. I don't know. I feel like this movie is trying to tell us that the Kris Kringle, the character here, is really Santa Claus, but at the same time, they put in these kind of logical things at the same time, which also shows that this is not the real Santa Claus. Like they show that he's actually staying in an institution and that Dr. Pierce knows him to be an old man that stays there and stuff like that. Many things that could show that he's just another old man, but also some things happen which shows that he is actually the real Santa Claus. I guess the movie is trying to blur the lines between fantasy and imagination. More importantly, what I got from this movie is that you can be a very realistic person, but at the same time, why not also, have an imagination, also like indulge in perhaps some fantasies, some fiction stuff. Like, why not? Now personally for me, my family has never believed in Santa Claus, Tooth Fairy, Easter Bunny. Hell, I didn't even know about them until I got much older and I read them in books. Before that, my mom or dad has never told me about anything like that. So perhaps the movie didn't impact me as much as people who believed in Santa Claus, Easter Bunny and all that when they were younger. But I kind of get the message that they were trying to send, is that it's okay to blend some reality with imagination sometimes, because reality is to keep you grounded, but imagination is so that you can soar into the skies, go to the deepest depths of the oceans, climb the highest mountains, all in your mind. And imagination really helps when you're reading these books. And I was an avid book reader when I was a kid, and all these, you know, children's books, Toys Coming Alive, or all these like fairy tales, like I'm familiar with a lot of them, and they were a great company to me as a child. So yes, I think imagination is absolutely an essential and important part of childhood. For most of us, when we grow up, we face reality, of course. I mean, some people face reality and mature faster than others, but when we grow up, sometimes we have no choice but to face the facts and sometimes the cruel, harsh truths of the world. But we shouldn't let that stop us from also being able to enjoy some fantasies once in a while. Merry Christmas, everyone. Enjoy your holidays. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.